Hi, my name is Aya. You're watching Aya Reads, and I'm here to talk about my most anticipated 2026 new releases. I cannot believe those words are coming out of my mouth. 2025 was not a good year for me in terms of reading. Hopefully, 2026 will be a better year for me. At the beginning of the year, I was in a slump, and at the end of the year, I was also in a big slump. There were like 2 months where I didn't read anything. Yeah, when I get into reading again, like it's taken me a while to get back to my like regular level. Also, I do feel like the way I was wrapping my books up this year wasn't helping the cause. So I think in 2026, I'm gonna go back to doing monthly wrap-ups. But anyway, that is neither here nor there. Let's talk about the top 15 books I'm most looking forward to reading next year. Some of them are by authors I already know and love, or sequels to series I've already started, and then some just sound more intriguing for me. This will be in chronological order, with most of the books being like in the first half of the year, considering those are the books that have a bit more details. I will not be talking about books that don't have a synopsis or don't have a title. Yeah, only 2 of the 15 books are in the later half of the year, and I actually don't have any books in the fall season. But of course, as always, I will be doing my most anticipated releases for every single month. So we'll get to that when we get to it. The first book I really want to talk about is The Wolf and the Crown of Blood by Elizabeth May. This one comes out on January 27th. And this is a new romantasy. So this is a romance between a princess and a god. And I do tend to love romances that involve gods in some way. So Bryony was born to die again and again because where she's from, royal blood is the currency of peace, with every monarch sacrificed and resurrected to appease the gods, and she's a monarch. But when rebellion stirs, the god king sends his deadliest weapon to restore order, an immortal assassin known only as the Wolf. His name is Evander, and it's going to be his romance with the princess. So it sounds like something I will definitely enjoy. Next is Wicked Onyx by Debbie Cassidy, and this one comes out on February 10th. This is a magic school, which, yes, I do tend to love those. This school is Nightbridge Academy, and you don't graduate, you survive it, which sounds similar to some other popular fantasy romances. So she's born into a sorcerer bloodline, but she's cursed and cut off from her power. She's basically the last of her bloodline, so she's allowed, even though in her bloodline there was a traitor, she's allowed to join this Nightbridge Academy, but she's really there to find a way to take the powers that be down. And there seems to be a love triangle involved. One who sees too much yet says so little, and the other is steady, protective, and always in my corner. I can't have either. So yeah, this sounds very good. Next is Half City by Kate Golden. Kate Golden has written some popular romantasies, or like one popular romantasy series, Dawn of Onyx. And this is her urban fantasy, which I have been in the mood to read an urban fantasy. You follow Viv Abbott, who's basically living an ordinary life, one that doesn't make her very happy, but she also is a demon hunter. And then she meets a alluring demon, Reed, and he tells her that there's a school for people just like her, Harker Academy. But of course, she also has secrets that nobody can know about, and it sounds like so much fun. And hopefully there is... Yeah, so she's a demon hunter, but she's probably gonna fall for this demon, which I like those stories, yes. Next is one I'm so excited about. It's In Her Own League by Liz Tom40. This is a spin-off to her Windy City series, and this follows Reese and Emmett, who were very much set up in Caught Up and Play Along. She is the first female owner in a major league baseball team. It's her romance with the coach of the team, which the coach is Monty, of course, who is the father of the heroine from Caught Up. I forget her name. Anyway, so they have been teased in those books, and I have been salivating at the bit to get their book. So we're finally getting it. And this is what I like about this book is it follows some older characters. So I'm very excited about it. Okay, I'm gonna look up her name because I really want to know now. Miller. I cannot wait to get some Kai and Miller scenes and Maxie scenes. Yeah, I love that. And I'm very interested to see when this book takes place. But either way, I'm gonna read this book as soon as it's in my hands. Next is Love Song by Al Kennedy. This is another off-campus spin-off. So I'm kind of confused about Elle Kennedy and the way she writes her new series, because it seems like, so I don't know if this is going to be a new series, but if it is, it seems like she starts every first book of a new series with Next Generation series from her off-campus series. And on the one hand, I get it, because obviously that is one of her most famous series and it's getting its own TV show. So, I mean, I get why you would capitalize on that. But on the other hand, I don't know, I either prefer an entire spin-off series or just start writing other things. But this is still one of my most anticipated releases, so we'll see. I have heard great things about the other series. I forget the name. Anyway, I'm a bit rusty. I haven't filmed in a while, as you can see. This follows Blake Logan and Wyatt Graham. So she is a college junior and she escapes from her lake house in Tahoe, determined to shut out the world. So her plan is simple: no men, no drama, until Wyatt Graham shows up, 4 years older and far too good at getting under her skin. And he's a living embodiment of bad idea and the guy who shattered her pride when she confessed her crush at 16. Okay, so I do tend to love pining heroine romances where she confessed her crush and he turns her down and then years later they do fall in love. I tend to love those. Powerless by Elsie Silver is one of my favorite books of all time, specifically for that reason. He was building his music career, but it stalled. So he's coming to Lake Tahoe for inspiration, and she turns out to be kind of his muse. And then they end up kissing, and one thing leads to another. I do like that. So this is obviously the son from The Deal. And I know in the other book, Hannah and Garrett's daughter was a hockey player, and I like how he is more of a musician, like his mom. So I don't know, the more I read about the synopsis, the more I'm intrigued, I guess. But I mean, obviously I was intrigued because it was in my most anticipated releases. On March 24th, Hunt the Villain by Rena Kent comes out. This is the second book in her Villains series, the first book being Kiss the Villain. And this is a mafia rivals romance. And this is the romance between Julian and, what's his name? And Vaughn. Okay, so apparently this, I think, has a lot of controversy surrounding it because people were angry because Vaughn was not supposed to like men or something. I don't know. I was not reading too much into that drama, but yeah. They were set up in the first book, which is where the drama started, but I'm excited about it. So far with Rena Kent's books, she's written 2 romances. One of them is my favorite book by her, and one of them is one of my least favorite books by her because Kiss the Villain was not my favorite. But I do think this one I'll like more than the first book, because one of the things that bothered me about the first book was she didn't spend enough time building their relationship, because technically they didn't know each other. Whereas in this book, these two do know each other. So I'm excited. Hopefully I'll love this book. And in fact, I will be in Japan while this book comes out. I'm gonna do my best to read this book as soon as I can, and if that if I have to film and read this book in Japan, I definitely will. We'll see if I can get around to it. If not, then for sure once I get on the plane going back to the Netherlands, I will be starting it. But hopefully I can make a big dent in it while I'm still on vacation. A book that comes out on March 31st, which is The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. So this is the second book in the Say You'll Remember Me series by her. The first book was not my favorite, but the book before it, Just for the Summer, was one of my favorite books of all time. So my hopes are not that high, but hopefully that just means she will surpass it. This is a boyfriend's best friend romance. So you follow Larissa. She went to a concert and she had to choose which guy she took a ride home with. That night she met the perfect man. She and Chris are great together, co-parenting a slightly unhinged rescue Yorkie, sharing their favorite books and judging bread. But Chris isn't the one who drove Larissa home all those months ago. Chris is her boyfriend's best friend. All Chris wants is for Larissa to be happy. Standing by on the sidelines is slowly killing him, but making a move would destroy someone else. And he's just not that guy. I don't know. This could be either the best book I read or annoy me to no end. So we'll see. Another book that comes out on March 31st is Game On by Nevessa Allen. This, I think, is the third and final book in her Into Darkness series. This I'm very excited about because this book has been very much teased in the second book, Caught Up. We follow Tyler and Stella, and this is a hate to love romance, and judging by the other 2 books in the series, it's going to be scorching hot, but also dark, but also funny. Stella might not believe in love at first sight, but loathing at first sight. Loathing, loathing you forever, loathing. Anyway, no question. From the moment she sets eyes on Tyler in her tattoo parlor, she knows he's the devil planning to make her life hell. Forced to play the part of his girlfriend and invite him to her family's glittering circles, Stella quickly clocks Tyler's ulterior motives because he wants to get close to her, to get close to his father, who abandoned him, I think, but he doesn't want to have a reunion. He wants to destroy him. So this is an enemies to lovers, fake dating, age gap romance, which, I mean, I did enjoy the first 2 books, so hopefully this one will be just as good. Next is, I believe, my most anticipated new release. It's Rites of the Starling by Devney Perry. This is the 2nd book in the Shield of Sparrows series, the first book being Shield of Sparrows. Shield of Sparrows was one of my favorite books I read this year, and I cannot tell you a whole lot about it because this is a direct sequel. So this, I believe, follows events from the first book, and I hope we're finally getting the MMC's point of view, because in the first book we never really got his point of view. But I really love that book, so I cannot wait to read the sequel. Next is Unbound by Peyton Corinne. This one also comes out on April 7th. This is the 3rd book in the Undone series by her, the first book being Unsteady. And I still need to read the 2nd book, which I'll have to do before reading this one. But this is the romance between Paloma and Bennett. And they were also pretty much set up in the first book. She was a bit of an antagonist in the first one. She has built up these walls, ensuring everybody only sees Paloma's sexy facade. Everybody except Bennett. Bennett Reiner, the carefully controlled neurodivergent goalie, has his routines and sticks to them, which helps him keep a hold on his OCD compulsions and the crippling anxiety that comes with them. The quiet and meticulous Bennett sees everything, especially the girl beneath Paloma's ever-present masks, and he always has. Unbeknownst to their friends, Bennett and Paloma were each other's first real love, which ended in crippling heartbreak. Bennett still doesn't know what happened, and Paloma is determined to stay away from the comfort she used to find only in his arms. For years, Bennett has remained her protective shadow, coming to Paloma's rescue whenever she asked, keeping her as close and safe as she'll let him. Okay, so this has a new cover, definitely different from the first 2, and I really love this cover, so hopefully they will change the first 2 so I can get those books in their new covers. Very excited about this book. Next is King of Gluttony, which is the 6th book in the Kings of Sin series, which I know I said I will not have a book with no synopsis, but this one is the exception. This one comes out on April 28th, and I will read any book Anna Huang writes. I say that, but I still have not read her latest release. But yeah, I don't know what this is about. I believe it's, since Gluttony, I think it's about Chef Sebastian, but I'm not sure. That is just a guess. Fever Dream by Elsie Silver. This one comes out on May 19th. And this is the first book in her new series, Emerald Lake. And this is the romance between professional bull rider Emmett Bush and Julia Silva. And Julia is Theo Silva's sister. And him and Emmett are rivals. So this is a rivals little sister romance, which I do tend to love those. Emmett, we've seen around, especially in Wildcard. I don't really need to know anything. It's an Elsie Silver book and I will read it. On June 9th, Tempting Venom by Rena Kent comes out. This is the romance between Preston and Marcus. This book has very much been set up in the first and second book of the Viper series. It's another MM romance and I am set. Although I say that, but I didn't really love Sweet Venom. But I have hopes, high hopes, that the third book will redeem the series for me. Even though I gave the first book 5 stars. The second book was 2 stars. So hopefully the third book will be 5 stars again. On July 7th, The Exquisite Torment of Loving Your Enemy by Bridget Knightley comes out. So this is the second book in the Dearly Beloved series by her. That is a difficult word to say. The first book being The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. I cannot really tell you a whole lot about this book, considering it's a direct sequel. But the first book, you follow Osric and Oriane. He's an assassin, she's a healer, and those two professions are diametrically opposed. He, through shenanigans and blackmail, forces her to help him because he's dying and he thinks she's the only one that can save him. Through that book, they slowly get closer together and, you know, they're gonna fall in love, obviously. I really love these covers. And I did definitely enjoy the first book. I gave it 4 stars, so hopefully I'll love this one. And then last but most certainly not least, on August 4th is The Lion and the Deathless Dark by Chris Brotman, which is the 5th book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, and this is the 1st book in the last duology. I have not read the 2nd duology yet because the people who really loved the 1st duology didn't really love the 2nd duology so much, but I have to read that to read the final duology. This series follows vampires, and there's basically 3 different types of vampires in this world. So the 1st duology follows one particular type of vampire, the 2nd duology follows the 2nd one, and this follows the other type of vampires. These are blood vampires, I think. I don't remember. I don't want to look too much into the synopsis because I don't want to be spoiled. But I did enjoy the 1st duology very much. Yeah, I still have about 8 months. No, 7 months. No, technically 8. I still have 8 months to read the 2nd duology to get ready for the 3rd one. I am sorry if this was all over the place and I didn't articulate everything too well. Like I said, it has been a while since I filmed anything, so forgive me. But hopefully I put some new books on your radar. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you're also excited about any of these books, or most importantly, if you're excited about a book that I haven't mentioned yet, so I can also put it on my most anticipated releases for 2026. And if you want to say that you were here but you don't want to leave me anything, leave me a purple heart emoji, since I feel like there were a couple of purple books in here. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving a like if you did. I thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.